Staff, this is the Cleveland Gary Show on 104.5 WFLM, The Flame.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Cleveland Gary. Welcome to Beyond Sports once again. Always nice to be with you, listeners, and talk a little radio on real radio. This is The Flame. And I'm so happy this evening to have some really great guests on the show. We'll be talking about Black Shopping Channel, of course, and we'll be talking about Egret. We haven't talked about BSC in a while. And before we get started, I encourage all of you listeners to go to clevelandgary.com, sign up or log in to our social media platform before it gets too crowded, because people are posting and they are replying to those comments. And we're just sharing some amazing information, and I'm really excited about it. And so I welcome you aboard. Go to the clevelandgary.com, sign up, and post your comments. We haven't talked about the Black Shopping Channel in depth lately as much as we've talked about Egret. Of course, we're going to talk about Egret here probably in the second half of the show, because we have some interesting and exciting things to share with you. But we've worked very hard to, building Black Shopping Channel to become the TV media company that it is to this day. And so we're very excited about it. And I wanted to talk with my counterpart, Kim Reed, about Black Shopping Channel, because she puts in endless hours and building the network and what it has become. And to be able to disseminate content in over 200 million homes across, America is pretty amazing, pretty exciting. It's not as exciting to me because we've been doing it for so long. But when you take a snapshot and look how far we've come and the trials we've had to hurl over, I'm pretty excited about where we are today. And so at this time, I'd like to bring Kim on, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about Black Shopping Channel. Hi, Kim, how are you?
I'm good. Cleveland, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad you took out some time to talk a little bit about BSC. I know you're working around the clock, getting those contracts solidified, going over into the over the markets, over the air markets, and in addition to satellites and cable and all the telcos, and you have it. Kim, one thing about the media business back in the day, when there was Black entertainment television, BET, it kind of changed the paradigm as it relates to African Americans on how you view TV, because they didn't have any content that was related to their culture that they could embrace and say, hey, I feel like I'm a part of this. Let's be real. You got R&B music, hip hop music, and BET was able to bring the kind of programming, to mainstream media as it relates to cable and satellite TV. And that was a big deal back then. And eventually, BET sold to Viacom for $3 billion. But I think Bob Johnson did an amazing job, Kim. But shortly thereafter, there was something lurking in the air as it relates to media and how content is disseminated via video and audio. And back in the day, of course, you had the C-bands, the transponders, which is virtually have become obsolete. And I just want to share with the listeners today, before we get into the nuts and bolts of BSC and how we had to reposition ourselves as it relates to disseminating our content to the right audience to get the right views. We needed to be a very successful company. So back in the day, let's talk a little bit about the transponders and you had C-bands, and no longer in existence. So much has changed as it relates to ISP protocol.
Sure. So when we talk about back in the day, we're obviously going back many years, but it used to be distribution was king, then content was king, then distribution was king. What's changed is it became a little bit more of an even playing field from a standpoint of the opportunity for distribution. And that's between what we all know as cable companies, and that could be the Comcasts of the world, the Charters of the world, et cetera. That's the DBS companies, and that's companies like DirecTV and Dish. That's streaming platforms. Streaming platforms include YouTube TV, Hulu Plus, then there's a significant audience that's over the air, and I could go on and on about the distribution point. But the phenomenal news is we've been able to solidify distribution for BSC, and this network has been a long time coming, long overdue, and it's going to create an opportunity not only to build a community, but to give entrepreneurs the opportunity to invest in themselves. And if I had to tell my children, Cleveland, anything, believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and support your family, your friends, the people that really matter. And of course, we're all going to have the stuff that we want. But from a distribution standpoint, it's a significant situation. And then it includes, once again, more distribution points, Roku, Amazon Fire, and these are all solidified contracts. So it's just tremendous time to get out there and launch, and that's what's happening. So BSC is going to give entrepreneurs an opportunity, and that's the difference between even an Amazon, HSN, a QVC, is it's just giving an opportunity to kind of twerk the model a little bit, for lack of a better word.
Kim,
mhm.
if I may intervene, when you talk
Of course.
distribution, I have to admit, first one to raise my hand, when Black Shopping Channel came into the market, we came in at a very interesting time. I would say it was a time of transformation, because had we entered the market 5 years prior, we would have sold it probably at the same time of a BT at a much larger number, being that we were inclusively in a paid for TV situation versus a 100% advertising model such as BET. But with internet service, protocol, ISP, it changed the dynamics of the game. And I will tell you something, I was very stubborn at the very beginning, because when you're sitting there, you're programming, you're shooting in your own TV studio, and you're sending that signal out to the carriages. And at that time, we were with Time Warner and Dish Network, and eventually we got a little bit of Charter in there. And we were in, a few million homes. And when we hit Dish Network, it was somewhere around 14.5 million homes. And of course, the carriage bill was astronomical, but we were building a lot of momentum. But at that time, the transition of ISP, was coming into play. And I'm sitting there in my studio with tons of ISP numbers and what have you, and new hard, tangible devices coming out. But when you talk about the advent of the internet, YouTube, and we talked about the antennas, and now you got the over-the-air market. And I said on many of occasions in the 25 years we've known each other, I said, this market has become very fragmented. And you keep telling me, Cleve, it's okay. It's just a transition. It's a seller's market. It's a buyer's market now. It's a buyer's market, and it's going to be okay. You just have to embrace the fact that the change is here now. And so we've relaunched BSC, and
Yes.
I'm happy about, the new concept, the new idea of me embracing the reality of how we need to disseminate our content. And Kim, over and over, you have to embed in my head that, look, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I know you wanted to take advantage of C-band and transponders, but don't worry about it. We can disseminate and market in such a way to reach even a bigger audience with the varieties of distribution systems that are in place now. And that's where we are.
That, and it's an opportunity to control the destiny, the marketing, the inventory, to be able to do things that were not fully achievable economically prior. So it's literally the perfect timing. And people are watching content on phones, smart TVs, over the air. and between cable, and as long as we continue to do what we're doing, which is communicate that to the audience, they're going to gravitate. And that's, really honestly super exciting. It's super exciting.
Yeah. Well, you've had to kind of embed that in my brain, and now I see it. But you've been in the business on that spectrum in the media markets, I mean, for over 25 years. So when you talk about smart TV.
Don't age me. Don't age me.
I'm not going to, but I tell you, you've been there a long time. And I tell you, it's really exciting because as we were working today and just positioning these markets, when you talk about over the air, being in San Francisco and Milwaukee and Atlanta, just having the ability to disseminate vendors' products in all the markets on the power stations and understanding the just the essential, it's so needed. And I'm just happy to be able to move horizontally. I was thinking more vertical plateau, and we can go as wide as we want. There are no obstacles at a cheaper price.
Correct. What it really comes down to, Cleveland, is touch points. And if people don't want to have cable, you can watch it over the air. This is how you find us. And I think this is exciting for folks because you can have paid TV, you can subscribe to Netflix, you can watch things over the air, you can get a Chromecast. There's all sorts of mechanisms, and there's going to be significant marketing, and that's a big deal for consumers also, not just from a business standpoint. It's also about accessibility and making it economically
right
in whatever works best for them and what works for their family and the individuals.
You made a good point to me earlier. You made a good point to me earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
You said it really doesn't matter, Cleveland. Think about it. When you look at the internet, you're talking about mobile phones, you're talking about iPads, you're talking about desktops. With the marketing infrastructure that we have and the ability to disseminate via the carriages, the cable, satellite, and then with the telcos, AT, Uverse, and breaking it all the way down to, and a lot of listeners are probably saying, well, they didn't say anything yet about social media or anything about YouTube and Facebook. That's all we watch. Not necessarily. I mean, when you look at the sales of Amazon, look at the sales of QVC and HSN, I was overwhelmed that the sales have skyrocketed. How can you go from 3B to 6B in a world where we're so social media insulated? And you made a good point. It doesn't matter. A screen is a screen. The bottom line is, how big is that screen? You know what I mean? If you look at an iPad, it's just a smaller version of a mobile device. It's just a larger, it's a larger version of a mobile phone. And an iPad is a smaller version of a big smart TV that you buy at a Best Buy. They're all screens. And I had to accept and embrace the fact that they're disseminating that via ISP. And so not having to use a transponder and a C-band to disseminate content, it's okay. The key is when you talk about e-commerce and consumers finding the products that they want, they had a starting point. And so being able to varietize our platform puts us in a position to always be in front of consumers, no matter what device they're using, whether it's a cable, whether it's satellite, over the air, ISP via internet. I've had to embrace that. So BSC has resurged, and we can reach that audience and create the opportunity for small business owners. Now I have the confidence, you have the confidence, which you always have had. And you've convinced me that, hey, we're going to disseminate no matter what. So it puts small business owners in the same position, as before, to make money, because they can disseminate their content over the airways, just in various forms.
Correct. And it's invest in yourself and invest in the people that you care about and building a community. And I've been an advocate for this for a long, long time. And it's the great news is it's the right time. The opportunity's there and the touch points are there. the um, synergy that I think a lot of people don't get is most shopping networks go after like an older female demographic. And this is also about millennials, Gen X, really being all inclusive. And, look at what happened in COVID, Cleveland. I mean, people were at home for 2 years. I mean, Florida may have been more open than Philly or New York or what have you, California, but still brick and mortar closed. So there's tremendous opportunity for people to come out and still work from home. They might have childcare issues. They can sell their products. And so there's really like just so many facets to this. And it's really good for people to know.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about it, once the vendors realize the eyes and ears that are watching and hearing them, and the results are manifested by way of revenue being in their bank account, and they're going to be very happy. And another thing, with having this new varietized way of disseminating content is just very creative, innovative programming, not being traditionalized like QVC and Home Shopping Network. We want to give the people what they want. And I look at the May 30 deadline that we have to air in over, 150 million homes. And is it tough? Yes, it is, but it's just something that we have to do. We're under contract. We have to start. We have to disseminate May 30th. And so I appreciate your support and unwavering tenacity and the ability to believe and keep doing what we have to do. We've signed quite a few contracts. And I think a lot of people, Kim, have some doubt, being that we've been at this for a long time, but we're proven, we proved that we can operate 24 hours, 7 days a week in over 15 million homes. We've proven that. Now it's time, so it's just bigger. That's all. We're going to be operating in the same fashion. We got, of course, we're wiser now. So we're going to be disseminating content just in a more fun, loving, exciting, eye-catching way. It's not just shopping, as you said, Cleve. We want to have creative shows, especially when it comes to the minorities, very creative shows that are eye-catching, shows that are just exciting to watch. And so that's the phase, really bringing some really nice, exciting content to the airwaves that you have never seen before.
That, and at the end of the day, giving people an economical opportunity to grow a business and be an entrepreneur, that's really, really important in today's time.
But you had to convince that the market was not as fragmented as I thought. I said it was just so fragmented. How can we do this? It's just so fragmented. But I realize and see the endless opportunities for small businesses.
Yeah, just everybody understands smart TVs, mobile phones, cable, satellite, the streaming devices, very accessible. And I think that's the only thing I want to add, because when you have distribution, you have marketing, and you have the power of sales, and it's the last point I would probably add, unless you want to ask anything else.
Well, we're at our end here. Why don't you just say where we are, what markets, what's happened, what's been consummated, when we're going to air, and we just put our money's where our mouth is.
Sure, I'll put an exclamation point on it.
All right.
Roku.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Roku.
Which is very inexpensive for folks, whether you have a Roku TV or you get a streaming device, Amazon Fire, Chromecast, iOS, which is Apple TV, plus mobile phones, Android.
iOS.
I'll keep naming.
The
DirecTV, Dish,
Network,
Comcast Charter.
Comcast, Xfinity via Charter. Yeah, so it's a lot of markets. And also,
and then over the air. So that's the people that don't want to pay for cable. That's markets like Atlanta, Montgomery. I mean, I could keep naming them. So it's all going to be marketed. So it's very easy for consumers to understand. And then they have choices. And And then there's always the public internet.
Absolutely. We're there.
Okay.
Well, we got to go to a break. Kim, I'm glad you came on and gave some very in-depth information to kind of, let our listeners know what we have. We're coming here and May 30th, and we're excited about it. And I'm going to leave all that on your shoulders, Kim, while I watch. But anyway,
They're right here. Okay.
it's always listeners. We have to
Thank
go
you.
to break. I want you to keep those dials locked. Kim Reed from Black Shopping Channel. She will be back on the show from time to time to give you an update. So nice to have you, Kim. Thank you once again and appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Keep
My
those
pleasure.
dials. We'll be right back.
This is the Cleveland Gary Show on 104.5 WFLM, The Flame.
Sure, people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on, honey. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. You've decided that you're not going to allow your circumstances to define you.
Hey,
You've decided that you're not going to allow the events, the things, the people, life, determine who you become.
I'm trying.
Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma was a true event that took place. A group of African Americans got together and created an economic system that created wealth amongst each other by circulating their dollars within their own community. They were so financially successful until they were bombed, beaten, many killed, resulting in destroying what was once known as Black Wall Street. The Black Shopping Channel is back on the street again to stay. Support the Black Shopping Channel vendors and this new fintech company that is connecting vendors to shoppers, resulting in circulating wealth back into the urban community. And hip hop, rap, and R&B music artists are reaching the world with their music at blackshoppingchannel.com.
Have you had a problem getting approved for a mortgage, car, or personal loan? You want a home, you want a car, but your Equifax, Experian, TransUnion credit reports are not satisfactory to lenders, so you're denied credit approval. If you or anyone you know have been denied credit approval in these areas, the answer is ECRID, the new credit bureau that can validate your credit worthiness to get you approved through ECRID's lending division, even if you've had a bankruptcy, foreclosure, or collections. For more information, go to www.ecrid.com. Create your own ECRID credit report by adding your light bill, water bill, mobile phone, auto insurance, and even rental payments. All validate your credit worthiness at ECRID. Go to www.ecrid.com and sign up today. It's free. Get the keys to your new home or your new car. The Black Shopping Channel is America's first 24-hour minority TV shopping channel that aired on Dish Network in 14 million homes. Visit our website at www.blackshoppingchannel.com. If you're a small business owner and would like to sell your products on the Black Shopping Channel, go to www.blackshoppingchannel.com and sign up as a member. It's free. Upload your product, schedule live stream events, music artists, sell your music, and control your career. It's time to get in the game and start supporting our small business owners and music artists. Go to Black Shopping Channel and shop today. Black Wall Street is back at www.blackshoppingchannel.com. The Black Shopping Channel, giving back, moving forward.
The D.L. Hughley Show
On 104.5.
Flame, the hottest R&B hits and oldies.
This is a paid advertisement. It does not represent the views of WFLM ownership, management, or staff. This is the Cleveland Gary Show on 104.5 WFLM, The Flame.
Hi, welcome back to Beyond Sports. I'm Cleveland Gary, your host. I had a nice time talking to Kim Reed about Black Shopping Channel, and the things she's doing over there is just great. I'm excited. No matter what, we've not given up. We have not quit. We've not thrown in the towel. We're very excited about this network, no matter what. And we're willing to do whatever it takes to disseminate your content over the airways to the millions of people. E-commerce is a big business. And you guys are selling your products on Facebook, the various social media network forums, and it is fragmented. So we want to put you in a home, in a place that you're familiar with, where you can reach out and sell your products, your culture, and connect with your people and make good money doing it. Nothing's impossible if you believe. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up, no matter what. And so we're excited that we can put you in a position to win. Now, go to clevelandgary.com, sign up or sign in to the social media network. I'm going to continue to say that. We're going to continue to build it, and we're going to grow it, and we're not going to stop, no matter what. We're going to defy all odds and do whatever it takes within ethics to be the very best that we can be, because we know at the end of the day, you want to be the very best. Maybe some things have happened in your life. Maybe you've had some hard times. Maybe the ball didn't bounce your way from here to there. But hey, don't give up. You got to stay on that straight and narrow path, and you got to work at it, and you got to believe, and you got to surrender to that. You got to surrender to your beliefs that you can be the very best that you can be, and it's okay to fail. And I tell people all the time, I failed a lot of times, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And there have been times in my life where I've succeeded in a big time way, but it resulted in a lot of mistakes and failures. And you become honed and pruned, and you go through the fire, and you become better at it. And you're more relaxed, and you have an understanding of what you need to do to get to where you need to go. But sometimes that takes a little bit more consistency, sometimes more for some than others. But you have to stay on that path and don't give up, and don't be, and don't have fear, and know that you can do whatever you want to do. And most important, enjoy your life, enjoy your family. And at the end of the day, that's what living is all about. Now, the second half of the show, I'm going to bring my counterpart on, Mr. Bill Houston. We work endless hours here with ECRIT, and I'm excited, Bill can be back with us. He's a regular. And it's so much information, we have to give you. We're so happy, we're so excited to talk with you about ECRIT, this new credit bureau that has its own lending division, ECRIT Lending Corp. And what's interesting about life, when you say stuff over and over and over, it kind of reminds me of sports to a degree. You practice and you run the same boring plays over and over, from Little League to high school to college to the pros. You run them over and over and over again. And one thing I want to share with you from experience, every single time I ran a play, I learned something different throughout my entire career. And that's the way I view life, no matter what. Every single time you walk down a path, you're going to see something very different. You're going to see something different. It will never be the same. And I'm saying that to say this, as it relates to ECRIT, the credit bureau, every single day we wake up, we have a plan, we have a goal. Even if we don't have a set plan, we have what you call things to do. You know what I mean? Some people write them down. They call it the things to do list. And some people have it embedded in their head, things to do. This is what I got to do today. So it becomes like autopilot. It becomes automatic. And I say that to say this. When it comes to your credit, everybody in the United States of America, 18 years of older, you have a credit report. And so it's easy to say to yourself as a listener, oh, okay, we're talking about this, we're talking about credit. All right. But it affects every individual in some form or fashion. It does. And that's why it's so important that I continue to go down the same path, because every time I go down this path, you're going to see something, you're going to see, and you're going to hear, and you're going to process it differently every single time. Now, we're in a very interesting situation. As we live in this great country they call America, you have many companies that have come up and have created ideas and innovative in their way of thinking, and brought certain new products or services to mainstream so the end user, you, the consumer, can benefit. Look at Uber. A lot of people use Uber, disruptive as it relates to the taxi cab. And that's life, just the way it is, all competition. You look at Amazon. A lot of people buy. There was a time when you couldn't even think about buying a product off the internet and letting somebody ship a product to you, in a box, and you open that box, didn't know if the size, you know how you women are, you didn't know if the size was going to fit right. And if the size didn't fit right, you were mad and you had to, had to calm you down or something, with some tequila. But the bottom line is you start shopping off the internet more and more and more. Now it's become a norm, and no different from Ecrit. And I know some of the, people out there saying, they'll never do this, they'll never do that. And I can understand, and that's okay. I like that. You got to have good, you got to have indifferent. That's what makes the world go round. But Bill, when we look at Ecrit, we look at that credit bureau, and I know each day that you work with me, you're learning something new every day. And being that you've been in the crowdfunding space and you've successfully did it for a long time, and with that being said, you've dealt with a lot of different companies in various forms. And having that credit report, I'm going to be repetitive again, being able to add your unconventional bills to your Ecrit credit report, whether it's your light bill, phone bill, water bill, rental payments, auto insurance, and any other bill that you pay on a monthly basis to validate your credit worthiness. As a B2C operation in which we operate under a B2C model, you have full control of your credit report. When you have full control, once you sign up and add those creditors, you have an instant 950 perfect credit score. And you pay those bills every month on time through our Ecrit bill pay portal. When your creditors send you an invoice, you're going to go to Ecrit bill pay, and you're going to take that information and you're going to send it right through the Ecrit bill pay portal. And it's going to process that payment for you. And it's going to update on your Ecrit credit report in real time. And shortly thereafter, 2 months, if need be, you need to apply for a mortgage or car or personal loan. You're going to apply right there on that portal. And you're going to get an instant, you're going to apply there, and you're going to get feedback from either Ecrit Lending Corp as it relates to your mortgage, your auto, or your personal loan. And that's a very good position to be in. And no credit bureau can offer that kind of service. Now, I'm sure they're probably trying, since they know the advent of Ecrit has come to light. And Bill and I had a very important meeting today. And actually, it was a meeting. He's been so busy, but this was his first time coming into this big corporate meeting, quote unquote, with Ecrit. And he was pretty blown away. I said, you got to be on this call today. I know you've been busy, but you gotta see what we're doing here at Ecrit. And we're gearing up, and we got to be cash heavy, because we want to get you in those houses, and it's going to take a lot of capital. So we've been very fortunate. I'm excited about it. And Bill, you can kind of summarize, where your head is as it relates to Ecrit, as we've kind of come here, on this level, and this is the playing field we're on. And so kind of share that a little bit, kind of share your thoughts on Ecrit.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on to talk about Ecrit. To be quite frank, I was absolutely blown away at at that meeting today. I got a completely different perspective and insights into Ecrit and Ecrit's potential, and what Ecrit really is in the market. Ecrit is a place that literally empowers consumers. Right? A lot of times, we're always worried about, my credit score. I hope that this was right on my credit score, that, nobody missed anything. And, because of that B2B to C model, but Ecrit being the B to C model, it literally empowers consumers. It empowers consumers to be able to liberate themselves from the fear that something may be wrong on their credit. When you think about 80% of consumers have erroneous information on their credit report, and Ecrit with their bill pay portal allows you to cut that down to a tiny fraction, if not completely eliminate those errors Think about what that means. Think about how that empowers the consumer and really liberates you from that old traditional experience with the credit bureau. And now this is something that empowers you to be able to go out there, get the credit that you're looking for. Get into a home, get into a car, get a personal loan, because you are now in control of your credit. It's nobody's going to make an error. When you pay your bill through that bill pay portal, it is paid, it is done, and it is truly exciting. And the size of the market, if you think about that, 80% of the population, right, has erroneous information. Think about the changes that are going to occur with eCrit. Think about eCrit being able to start you out at a 950 score, and then within a few months being able to go right there on the same platform and apply for a mortgage, apply for a car loan or a personal loan. That is powerful. That is liberating. This is game changing. If I sound excited tonight, it is because I absolutely am. Was just blown away today, Cleveland.
Well, Bill, the key here, as we are heading down the stretch here, being in a position, as it relates to the demand curve. If you look at the housing market over the past year and how the demand for houses is just risen at an all-time high in this economy, but the supply curve is lagging behind, meaning you can't put up enough houses. The demand, is so great. And so that's a great opportunity for us, because we want to put people in homes. And when you look at the fact, Bill, that from the conversation today, we'll be able to process mortgages and get people approved at a very pretty adroit rate. And that's, I think, as you could see today, that's my primary focus right now, is not whether or not we can get you approved, but getting people approved at a fast rate. We truly want to make an impact. We want to make a difference. And I think, Bill, sometimes, you look at this country we live in and you look at the struggle we've had, as African Americans. And, I've never looked at life in a negative way, always in a positive way. And I know that being, in the position to make, some very critical decisions in eCrit, we know we have some doubters, but it's really not about proving anybody wrong. It's about us proving that we can make a difference for you. We can help you. And when we put those loans in front of your face and you want a $300,000 house, and deep down in my heart, they say, Mr. Gary, what's this eCrit all about? I say, it's truly about what makes me feel good is knowing that you have a nice, beautiful home, and we were a part of it, of getting you finance, at a good interest rate. That's the bright spot of being a part of eCrit, seeing that person in that nice, beautiful home. We were able to fund it, whether we packaged the loan in the secondary market, whether we, as a non-QM lender, puts us in a very unique position, Bill, because we can look at your eCrit credit report and realize that you have other debt out there, realize that you've made a mistake, and realize you will never get this opportunity, under the three credit bureaus. No offense to them, but because of their model and because of the system, it's not your fault. You make mistakes, we make mistakes, we all make them. It's inevitable. But we wanted to create a model that pretty much was inclusive of a redemption plan, to where 7 years had to be eliminated. We cannot have 7 years in the factor of eCrit's credit analysis, credit model. We cannot have that in our circumference. No way. That's too long for somebody, Bill, to have to suffer. So it's nice to be able to make this a better place to live in. And that's just a beautiful feeling, man, where you have a whole, a lot of states, a lot of people are living in homes, and they never would have had those homes if the good Lord had not blessed us with eCrit to put us in a position to help them.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you think about that, I'm going to really go back one more time to ECRIT being something that empowers the consumer. You know, with the redemption plan, you know, the redemption plan, you know what you have to do in order to, you know, to have your credit redeemed. It's spelled out. You know, there's no, maybe it's 7 years, maybe 5 years, maybe this, you know exactly what it is. And, you know, you just have to do it, right? It puts you into the driver's seat, you know, which is really a powerful opportunity for people who, like you said, may have made a mistake, right? And they're not going to be punished for 7 years. You think about the amount of wealth, you know, that could be lost over that 7-year period, you know, because you're not in a home, because, you know, you're paying rent and you're not paying on your mortgage. That is tremendous. That is something that can really hurt and damage people over a long time. 7 years seems like an incredibly long time, even at my age. 7 years is a really long time. And, you know, having ECRIT, having the bill pay portal to make sure that there's no erroneous information on your credit report. You know, you just go there, you know, you pay your bills, you upload them, and boom, you know, you continue with your credit. I mean, I think this is a really exciting time. And kind of like you said, to give a little context here, you know, according to a Zillow report, you know, the U.S. housing gained a record $6.9 trillion in 2021. And they said that nearly doubled the largest growth ever, right, in 2005 at $3.7 trillion. You think about the size of that market and the ability for ECRIT to start to really penetrate, you know, that huge market. And it's going to penetrate that market by allowing some people who didn't ever have the opportunity to get into, you know, a home, you know, with a mortgage for lots of reasons, erroneous information on their credit report. Maybe they made a mistake in their life and they're still in that 7-year process. And ECRIT really empowers the consumer to be able to get into a home and to be liberated and to have a, you know, a wonderful, beautiful home that they can look at and be proud of.
Absolutely. And, you know, Bill, you know, it's like I said, I'm reiterating, you know, reiterating here. The fact of the matter is being in a position, you know, and as you heard today in the meeting, and, you know, you have many people will doubt, you know, that ECRIT could do it, you know, because you have Equifax and the Spirit and the TransUnion. And I'm sure a lot of people say, nah, they won't do it, man. You know, we grew up knowing who these 3 credit bureaus were. Well, we're not afraid. No offense to anybody. But if we've been given a vision to create a system that can impact people's lives in a positive way, man, it's just exciting. I won't knock on your door, but if ECRIT, you know, as ECRIT is financing these homes, I just want to get in my car and drive by somebody's house and wave at the house. Whoa, man, you know, this guy is in a house, man. This dude was living in an apartment, paying astronomical, you know, rent. And all of a sudden, man, this dude's in his own home, man. His family build their own house, making their own mortgage payment, man. You don't understand, dude. I may have to break dance, man. I may hurt something, but I think I'm gonna break dance, dude. Seriously. I was looking at, you know, I want to say, do this for me. Go to ecrit.com. All you listeners out there, go to ecrit.com. And on the front page at the left, there's a fax. FAQS. Click on that fax, and we've created tutorial videos that are so user-friendly for you to learn and master the inner workings of how ECRIT can work for you. When go to ecrit.com, all right, click on fax. You will see how to sign up for a free member, each step by step. That video saying, type in your name, type in your address, type your phone number in, step by step. Boom, check your email, verify that it's you. Boom, you verified it. Takes you right inside your ECRIT Business Center where you have your own business. And it'll say, click on this if you want to make $75. It'll show you at the top. There's Twitter, Facebook. Click on this link your account, send out emails to your friends. Your eCrit referral ID number is embedded in all those pre-designed templates. You make $75 when they sign up. Go to ecrit.com, click on facts, and look at the tutorial video on how to become a free member. And it also shows you a demonstration, clicking with the mouse, each step on how you make money. Easy. You can watch it as long as you want and as many times as you want. Now, after that, it has how to create your eCrit credit report. Click on that link. It'll show you creditor 1. So it'll type in the creditor, hit submit. Creditor 2, it'll show you exactly what you have to do. You can pause that video. You can watch it every day. You'll master the art of how to create your own eCrit credit report. And under that, you'll see eCrit bill pay. It'll show you how to click on, log in, click on bill pay, click on your creditor. It'll drop down all your creditors that you added to your credit report and the amount you owe, and you hit proceed. And then it will give you 4 steps right there. Copy your invoice of your creditor, copy the, type in your email, forward this to billpay@ecrit.com, put your username and password in, hit submit, boom, bill is paid. That simple. It is that simple. So you go to ecrit.com, you click and click on the FAQS, and it'll give you a demonstration on how to do everything that Bill and I talk about right here on this show. You will be able to literally come on the show and talk with Bill and I and tell everybody the inner workings of the eCrit Credit Bureau. And after that, after you've had that credit report for a couple months and you paid your bills, there's another tutorial video on how to apply for a loan. It says it right there. Click here to see a product demonstration on how to apply for a loan. You're going to click on that button. It'll take you through the steps visually with your eyes. You'll see this hand moving and tapping all the spaces. You're going to type your information in and hit submit and apply for a mortgage, personal loan, or auto. It'll have the circles there. Do you want a mortgage? Do you want a auto, or do you want a personal loan? Very, very descriptive, plaintive, very easy to understand, and you will master it. And like I said, we're going to keep coming at you guys. We're going to make money available for you as lenders, as eCrit Lending Corp. We're going to make the money available for you to get financed. And we're going to finance you based upon how you pay your bills through the eCrit bill pay portal at ecrit.com. That's what we're going to do. And you make your bill payments on time, and you apply for a loan. Our mortgage, as Bill heard for the first time today, our lending centers and processors, you will be happy. We will do everything to get you approved. All you'll have to prove, show either it won't be all inclusive, your W-2 or your tax returns, or your pay stubs, or your bank statements. In a lot of cases, being a non-QM lender, we probably won't even ask for your tax returns. We can look at your bank statements. We can look at your income and say, okay, we can get them in this house at this price. And I've never been as descriptive with you before as I'm being descriptive with you tonight, because as we're coming down to the home stretch, this is about business. This is not just about getting on here and pumping up eCrit. This is about you taking advantage of an opportunity to change your life for the better. And it doesn't matter if you're black, white, blue or green, tall, purple, whatever. This eCrit does not just cater to a minority market. We cater to people that have had inaccuracies on their credit report, which is 80% of the American population. And we want to do something about that to make your living conditions better, safer, sounder. And so you'll come back to us and you'll continue to do business with us because we service you in a manner that makes your life better.
Absolutely. And I hope they heard what you just said, because not only can you get onto eCrit and be able to secure a mortgage or a home or a mortgage, a loan or an auto loan, but you have the opportunity to actually make money by getting people to sign up for ECRIT. You have an opportunity through the ECRIT IPO to start to buy shares in this exciting opportunity that we're talking about here to literally drive the market cap of the company where you're getting your mortgage or your auto loan. This is really exciting. I would say, as Cleveland did, visit ecrit.com and really learn about the multiple opportunities that ECRIT provides to people and empowers you as the consumer.
We're going to take a break. We hit the 7:50. We got carried away here, but that's okay, Bill. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and wrap it up and talk about it. Keep those dials locked. We'll be right back. You're watching.
This is the Cleveland Gary Show on 104.5 WFLM, The Flame.
Sure, people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on, honey. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit.
You've decided that you're not going to allow your circumstances to define you. You've decided that you're not going to allow the events, the things, the people, life determine who you become.
Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma was a true event that took place. A group of African Americans got together and created an economic system that created wealth amongst each other by circulating their dollars within their own community. They were so financially successful until they were bombed, beaten, many killed, resulting in destroying what was once known as Black Wall Street. The Black Shopping Channel is back on the street again to stay. Support the Black Shopping Channel vendors in this new fintech company that is connecting vendors to shoppers, resulting in circulating wealth back into the urban community. And hip hop, rap, and R&B music artists are reaching the world with their music at blackshoppingchannel.com.
Have you had a problem getting approved for a mortgage, car, or personal loan? You want a home, you want a car, but your Equifax, Experian, TransUnion credit reports are not satisfactory to lenders, so you're denied credit approval. If you or anyone you know have been denied credit approval in these areas, the answer is ECRIT, the new credit bureau that can validate your credit worthiness to get you approved through ECRIT's lending division, even if you've had a bankruptcy, foreclosure, or collections. For more information, go to www.ecrit.com. Create your own ECRIT credit report by adding your light bill, water bill, mobile phone, auto insurance, and even rental payments. All validate your credit worthiness at ECRIT. Go to www.ecrit.com and sign up today. It's free. Get the keys to your new home or your new car. The Black Shopping Channel is America's first 24-hour minority TV shopping channel that aired on Dish Network in 14 million homes. Visit our website at www.blackshoppingchannel.com. If you're a small business owner and would like to sell your products on the Black Shopping Channel, go to www.blackshoppingchannel.com and sign up as a member. It's free. Upload your product, schedule live stream events, music artists, sell your music, and control your career. It's time to get in the game and start supporting our small business owners and music artists. Go to Black Shopping Channel and shop today. Black Wall Street is back at www.blackshoppingchannel.com. The Black Shopping Channel, giving back, moving forward.
The all-new Flame 104.5 and the Midday Groove 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. 104.5 The Flame.
The hottest R&B hits and oldies.
Bigger and better.
This is a paid advertisement. It does not represent the views of WFLM ownership, management, or staff. This is the Cleveland Gary Show on 104.5 WFLM, The Flame.
Hi, welcome back to Beyond Sports. I'm Cleveland Gary, your host. I've had the pleasure of talking with Kim Reed earlier in regards to the Black Shopping Channel and my partner, Bill Houston and ECRIT. Bill, when we talk about Black ECRIT and the service that we provide, there's one thing that has been missing in the minority community, and that's truly, truly impounding, impeding, and educating in the area of investing. And with the ECRIT IPO being where it is, there's some changes I've had to make, but I'm very excited because you work at something, you learn a lot, and we've had to kind of restructure the IPO. When we priced it at 50 cents, we decided to price it at 20 cents. But when I look at the volume, liquidity, and what have you, I'm very happy, very excited, especially with the new relationship we have with Strax. And I know as a listener on the radio station, this may sound a little foreign to you, but don't let it alienate you, because I want to explain it in simplistic terms. And nothing is as difficult as it seems, just challenging sometimes. But we're very excited. We know the people that are involved, even from an indirect standpoint, will benefit from being an investor in ECRIT. We work at it, we believe in it. And with all the things that we're doing and the way ECRIT has revised itself, it will take care of itself. And you have a lot of people will benefit off of ECRIT very handsomely in the secondary market. I believe that as it relates to the IPO, and in the future, the subsequent offerings as it relates to secondary offerings will take place. And so as we wait upon our answers, via the SEC, and once we reposition IPO, I can't even tell you that I will sell all the shares. I'm not really sure right now, because ECRIT somehow had a very interesting start, but in restructuring, it's worked in our benefit, because now we've really gained up, and we're building the blocks, and as it relates to being very strong asset wise and being able to be in a position to get you in the homes. When you do the work, everything else take care of itself. And so I'm just telling you a little bit as a listener. What I can tell you, the press releases that's been disseminated in mainstream and where we are. We signed an agreement with the NASDAQ company, and I've been training and working with them now for 2 solid weeks. I'm in a 5-week training program. But what I love about it's being in front of, Bill, a platform where I can see every investor that buys and sell ECRIT stock. And I was so amazed because it's public, and, I'm so amazed because, when I look inside ECRIT and I look at the investors, I look at people with accounts from, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America. And it's amazing. I was blown away of the kind of accounts that's inside of ECRIT, buying that stock little by little. And it kind of saddens you a little bit when people look at you and they say, well, they're not there yet. When they become a blue chip, I'll take part in it. But as they grow from small cap to mid cap, from mid cap to blue chip, what millions of people don't understand, somebody was making a mark in that stock. And so ECRIT has liquidity that doesn't trade by appointment only like it once did, on an occasional basis. So I don't want you to be alienated because of the way I'm talking right now, and I'm going to simplify it. And I don't want to overindulge in anything. I don't push the cart for nothing. It's only up to you. But as we grow, as we revolve, and as we disseminate information in the public via press releases, I'm going to educate you and tell you what we just did. Say, hey, a press release just came out, and this is where ECRIT is. Because as we build momentum and we're growing, whether people like it or not, but the ones who are benefiting, they're going to love it. It's just an opportunity for you. So as we evolve, as we grow, and as things are confirmed, and Bill, you was there today, and as we disseminate this information via press release, I will come and tell you, say, hey, this is what we did. And, the opportunity is yours. I'm not going to push anything, but because ECRIT is going to be okay, no matter what. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful, blessed. We're very blessed. Give God the glory. And man, we just want to help, man. We just want to get you in a home. I want to just put it in layman terms. We just want to get you in a house at a good interest rate. We just want to do the best that we can for you. You've had some hard times, some tough times, Bill, I look at sometimes in our community, man, it's just supporting people. People You know, in our culture, you know, I'm just keeping it real. People just don't support each other like we should. When you look at the African American dollar, when the consumer gets it, when the consumer, when that person receives that paycheck, it only stays in the African American community 4 hours. When you look at Asians, Latinos, Caucasians, it's 6 days, it's a month. And we just got to learn how to embrace, you know, it's okay to be competitive. You know, a lot of times, Bill, people can get confidence mixed up with arrogance. You know, Christ was confident. He wants you to be confident. He don't want you to be no wimpy dude or no wimpy woman. You got to have confidence. But there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. There's a big difference. And some of us mistake people's confidence for arrogance. And it's nothing wrong with a person trying, you know, but if somebody else tried, you know, that was green or purple or blue, you wouldn't raise a finger. You wouldn't reach your crab claw to grab them and push them down. And it's really sad that people have been living this way for many, many, many generations. And I'm sure if a blue listener or a white listener or gold or green listener was listening right now, they would agree. It just makes no sense, because at the end of the day, you are a consumer. It doesn't matter what color you are. You can be black, white, blue, or green. But you got to understand, when you're buying people's products or accessing their services, it's just natural that their revenues are going to grow, their market cap is going to grow. It's that simple. But I say that to say this, you know, and maybe I'm not saying anything right now, okay? But what I am trying to say is be open-minded, you know, not just as a consumer, but as an investor. But most importantly, it's 3-layer, but as a person, as a human being. You know what I'm saying? As a human being, keep your mind open. You don't have to close it. You know, when you know, sometimes we're talking to each other in our own culture, we can hear, but we really don't want to listen. But, you know, but it takes a certain attitude, a certain mind frame to make a difference. It's not about me, you know, it's about us. It's nothing wrong with you being successful. It's nothing wrong with me being successful. And at the end of the day, you got to say, how do you define success? Well, you can define success in a million different ways. But when it comes to business, it's all about getting your brand out there, getting it in the eyes of the consumer so they can participate. It doesn't matter who you are, what color you are. Just understand that people try hard, man. People try really, really hard. Just don't take a negative view at them because of the size, because if they're heavy, if they're too skinny, or if they're African American or whatever. You know, give people a shot, give them a chance. But I do believe, Bill, when you develop and create an amazing product, you don't have to shy away from anything. You got to bring it. You got to bring the thunder, bro, because it's going to make a difference and it's going to help people. And the more people you help, you just got to let action speak louder than words. And that's what I love about eCrit. It's a game changer. And, you know, I'm looking here at the clock. It's 8:03, right? I thought, and the show ends at 8, right? Man, I got so happy I went over, right? 8:03. Well, I'm sorry, Bill, man. Bill, thank you for having me on the show. We're going to get out of here. I'm sorry.
Appreciate it. You was on fire tonight.
Hey, it's 8:03. I'm sorry. Hey, everybody at the Flame, apologize. You're working 3 minutes late. I'm going to take y'all to McDonald's and make up for it. God bless you guys. See you next week. Thank you for watching Beyond Sports. Keep those dials locked in your minds until next week. Take care. And don't worry, it'll be okay. We'll see you next week.
The Treasure Coast #1.